Welcome back, guys. We are still in northern Italy. We are still at the same place that we have been the last 3 days, where we pumped out, when we are finished, we will have pumped out 20 episodes, German and English ones. So we are very happy. It was a very productive, it was very efficient. And in today's episode, we will talk about a very controversial topic, although I just told Reggie, I felt more uncomfortable doing this episode in German that I'm feeling now. Now it's actually funny. Doing that episode in English is more fun, I think.
It will be interesting, yes.
So the title of this one is Why Are German Detailers Such a Pain in the Ass? And to give you a little bit of context, Reggie does a lot of trainings also with German guys. I do trainings with German guys. We both are somewhat invested in the German detailing scene also with videos and stuff we do. And we experience a lot with those German detailers. And I'm sure some of the listeners also have experienced a lot of the stuff that we are going to talk about. And German detailers are, or can be, let's say can be, a huge pain in the ass. Now,
that's what PITA means. Now I understand. PITA, what is PITA? PITA, now I understand.
Pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass.
Now, of course, this will be somewhat generalizing, and this is not a racist thing. Please don't call us with messages in regards to that. It's very generalizing, we know that, but it is based on our own experiences.
I've seen of all sorts in all countries.
Yeah. You know what would be very funny? If we could make this episode with your buddy Marvin, which is a German detailer, who is a German detailer. That would be very funny, but maybe we can do that in the future. Now, what do we mean by that? Let's start with the very first point, and I think that's not a prejudice, that's fact. Germans are very exact. And they take pride in being very exact. This has led to, in some industries, German companies being market leading. But if we talk about persons and detailers, this can be really a pain in the ass.
Deutsche Gründlichkeit.
Yep. German engineering is a term very well known in the world, so they are very exact, which means once they have learned and accepted a detailing routine, they follow that routine very, very systematically, almost military-like, very strict, very exact. Which also means they are somewhat, in a nice way, you would say they are hesitant. In a not so nice way, you'd say they are almost aggressive as soon as someone suggests differently. When someone suggests
outside German stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. If someone suggests you should not do, maybe skip the pre-wash, a German will almost start attacking you for that.
Pre-wash. I can definitely vouch for that. I'll vouch for that. I can agree with that on very many points.
Because I think we already talked in another episode about the differences between the European, especially the German market, and the American market. And one observation still is that the pre-wash stage of a car, so meaning removing as much dirt as possible before I mechanically touch it, is not as prevalent in the US. And you could just say that's a local, that's a cultural thing, but a German is almost not able to accept that. A German will very aggressively go against these Americans, saying what you guys do is completely insane, goes completely against every single principle of sustainable car care, careful car care. That's why they are. That's the disadvantage of them being very exact. They have difficulties accepting other opinions. Partially.
Yes, and outside of Germany, as a difficulty for being a non-German brand, I see the patriotism for the belief in their own products and their own manufacturers.
Good point. I also wrote that down. They have difficulties accepting other brands, yes. Especially if they come from, for example, Poland. Because as soon as something from Poland comes into Germany, automatically German detailers pretend or assume that those things, those chemicals are less safe for materials or users, automatically, without knowing what type of testing that company may does or not do. And especially also with Asia. Everything that comes from Asia is automatically of lower quality and also comes with more risks in terms of health and safety, which also is not necessarily true.
Cannot be generalized. Can it be generalized or it's put in one area? It's impossible.
But German retailers are very protective in that sense and almost scared of foreign stuff. Now, I don't know Reserved.
Yes.
I don't know if that comes from current political, social stuff that's going on in Germany. I know they don't have easy times, but I don't know where that comes from otherwise. No. Maybe that's the third point I wrote down, maybe because they have very strong national brands with high quality stuff.
They have a luxury of having so high quality brands rammed, backed up in one big country.
Sonex, Kochchemie, Dr. Wack, to name a few, Polytop, Nanolex, Surfaces, so very, very good brands there. Absolutely. And that could be a reason, yes, that they say, I don't need anything from abroad. We have those brands here, and those brands do a lot of R&D. They do proper testing. They give us proper material safety data sheets. They follow all the German rules. Could be one reason.
Yes, and they have the luxury of are already used to very high quality products, so they will be more difficult to be impressed.
Exactly.
Or convinced that something else could be better because they already have so much great stuff at their fingertips.
Yeah. And for I mean, you are the best example. You are also a brand that invests a lot into R&D, proper testing, high quality stuff, and also certifications. But the trust was not on this. The trust in you as an Italian brand was not on the same level, I would say 2 years ago, as it would be with Sonex, Kochchemie, or any other brand. That's something that grows slowly now that you are more out there and exposing yourself. But yeah, that's definitely a side effect of those strong national brands that they have in Germany.
You cannot bullshit around with German. You can say what you want, but they like to be the exact and direct. Dutch people like to be even a little bit more direct, regardless of some person's feelings, and that is very accepted in the culture. But not bullshitting it around. You have to be factual, be more correct with the German. And the German will be more reserved to assume what you are telling is actually true.
Let's put it like that. Chemical Guys never was able to achieve the same status that they had in the US. They tried, they still try, they never did it. Auto Finesse from the UK tried it, never did it. So brands which are solely focusing or strongly focusing on the fun part of detailing are not doing as well in Germany as they do in other countries. It's very, very interesting.
That is very interesting. Meaning that the German is more demanding and more critical, more...
I would say more critical, yes. Yes. Now, I don't know if that's a cultural thing, a thing from the past, but it is. It is a fact that they are.
It could also be that the love for the car... So I remember when I was working with the car wash, and it was Saturday morning, and the car wash opened at 8, and I would come at 7:30, just half an hour before, to prepare everything, to open up the door. The first 6 cars were already in line to wait for the door to be opened at 7.
They were all Germans?
They were all Germans. They would spend a medium amount of money to get the car clean, and then they would spend about 2 to 3 hours with an inverted roll of tissues to clean all the crevices and angles and everything. And that is how the culture of in the weekend there was washing, car wash in the weekend. So the pride of the ownership of a car with, of course, Audi, Mercedes, BMW leading the limousine cars in the world. Yeah, then it may also become that the taking care of a car like that, then also products to take care of them become also more critical.
I think that's a very fair point, because I live in Switzerland. Switzerland has a very high standard in regards to the cars that people drive. But exactly for that, I think driving a, let's say, premium car is not that special in Switzerland. In Germany, I think it's something different. They work maybe longer and harder so that they can afford such a premium car, which automatically also leads to them being more proud of their car.
And taking better care, and demanding better care for it. So you want the best clothes, you want the best skincare, you want the best car care.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think I could agree with that. That could also be something, yes. And you already also said something. Germans are very direct in how they express something and how they say things. Very direct. That leads to, especially with the Swiss people, some challenges, because the Swiss people are very indirect in how they say things. They are very careful. They take a step back. The German does not do that. And I experienced that firsthand, that leads to issues, but I can also imagine that leads to similar issues with other cultures where they are maybe more friendly or more held back. That could definitely be a big part in why German detailers are considered to be a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass.
Because if a German and an American talk about online probably, and the German tells the American how much of an idiot he is, that could be perceived as difficult.
Difficult, slightly challenging. Could also be the majority, of course, of the enthusiasts, so they outnumber the professionals very highly. So there are very, very, very high amount of end users or prosumers, people that have a very big hobby.
Yeah.
That also makes the sales and the popularity of brands also very difficult. Different, not difficult, different.
Yeah.
So if you have a very large group of professionals in both ranges of the high-end detailing, the detailing and the car cleaning, so full-time professionals, they demand bigger products, bulk and everything, where the weekend warrior that has more freedom to spend on things, he is not looking from a commercial side, so it is easier to spend more money, and therefore, because he starts spending more money, also can become more critical or more demanding.
Also true. And it could also have to do something with the legal situation that the Germans have, as much as the Swiss and the Austrians have. We are not allowed to wash our cars at our home.
That's probably the main reason why they're a pain in the ass, because they're pissed off and jealous of everybody that can wash their car outside. So they become automatically.
I actually think that could be a very good reason. If a German watches videos where a UK guy washes his car on his lawn, or a guy in the US washes his car in his driveway, the German simply isn't allowed to do it. And because Germans are Germans, when someone decides to do it on his own driveway, you can be absolutely fucking sure that his neighbor will point the police in the right direction.
100%. There's one here
That's a
washing his car.
good thought, Reggie. That's a very good thought. They are just envious of all the other guys.
Yeah, they are a little bit aggravated by what the others are capable to do.
They're jealous, and that's why they're angry.
And I have to be honest.
That's a good point.
If the horror stories I hear that they go to the self-wash unit and that they get sent away because they take their own bucket out of the trunk and that they spend too much time drying the car, I imagine these things, that would really piss me off. That I cannot use my own products, that I'm mandatory to use the liquid bullshit coming from that hose, and that you have to use that brush to destroy your car, and then I would get aggravated and frustrated as well. I would probably turn into pain in the ass.
That's an extremely good point. So meaning they are, because of the legal situations and the environment that they are in, they need to take this hobby very seriously, because they just cannot do it half-arsed, let's say. They need to take it very seriously, so they are very invested into it. It's not just a hobby anymore for them. They need to find special places where they can wash their cars. They need probably to rent spaces where they can do it. It
almost becomes niche.
Almost becomes a luxury niche, and that's why they are automatically more invested in it. And if you're more invested into something, you're getting more serious, and that's why you cannot just have casual conversations about it anymore.
True.
Imagine
if they flip it around. Imagine if they flip it around and the government thinks, wait a second, there is a huge potential for growth in the economical market to provide these people with a location where they can do these things and therefore expand, because a cleaner car means that they are trapping the dirt at that location. You keep driving around with a dirty car, you accumulate dirt from a certain location, you're transporting it to another location where it's falling off the car. You go to a self-wash unit, you're rinsing off the car, you're dumping all the chemicals and all the dirt in that sludge, in that bacterial filtration system, and then you're helping the environment. So the government was smart. They will facilitate the possibility to do these things at certain locations that have minimum environmental demands to perform these washing cycles at location.
I have never understood why there wasn't a company jumping on that train in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, because it wouldn't be that difficult. It would be expensive, but not that difficult to come up with a franchise system with such places where people can just rent a detailing hall with all the necessary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Never understood it. Probably too expensive for what it is.
True, location, environmental issues, separation of oil and dirt, trapping it, sanitizing that once a year.
That's manageable, but yeah.
Depending on how busy it is and how dirty the cars become. I've seen what we had to do to remove this. 18 tons of sludge that has to be sanitized through a special company that comes picking that up. No joke. If you see what's coming out of those cars, what kind of toxins it actually are, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
That would actually be, if you want to do real torture testing, completely digressing right now, but you want to do real torture testing on your ceramic coating, throw on some brake fluid and see how acidic resistance that stuff really is. You know, that's just, please don't try this at home. It was a joke. People will do this.
So that also brings us to the next point. If the Germans are so invested in it, which explains why they take it so seriously, that also explains probably why they don't like change so much. That's also a Swiss thing, because convincing Swiss people of changing to something new if they have found something that works for them is very, very, very hard, time and money consuming. That's also something with the Germans.
Yeah, I enjoy it very much. I like it. It's a very good challenge. It means you can seriously say that if you have achieved success with the sales of your car care products in Germany, that there is a small tap on the shoulder that you did pretty...
You did something right.
You did it pretty freaking good, I would say.
You were convincing and you earned their trust. That's it, yeah. But generally they don't like change. It's again this, if they're very strict with their, and exact with their systems, they have their systems and their products, convincing them to change is...
Yes, especially if you have to deviate from something that is far from their comfort zone, or from what they know.
Yep.
So I like to add on or change small things, and then those things will lead to enthusiasm, intrinsic motivation to develop it even more.
Once again, also fueled by those German brands being rather good, if we're honest.
True.
They are rather good. They not only give you the performance of the products, but also the safety. They are properly developed. They don't rot the bottles away, because they also test that the bottles stay constant, the chemicals stay constant in those bottles. They invest in proper material safety data sheets. They follow all the rules. It's very tough for a foreign brand competing with that.
That is absolutely
And you can almost always only compete based on price with them. Almost always.
Yeah, because that also became a big factor. At least that is how I saw it compared to a couple of years ago, that now the prices of the products became a really big thing, a major thing to decide, decisive thing to buy or purchase or use this product just because the price was too high, or that even the price, because the price became low, that the product became better because the price is low. That I have also seen very much in a rapid amount of time, that I sometimes think, is there an influence from the Netherlands flowing over this? Is this like a disease of this cheapness that's flowing over from the Netherlands?
Because realistically, and I don't know if this is an international thing, but we in Europe experienced it very, very rapidly. Since the COVID crisis, since the Ukrainian war, since delivery issues, since transporting issues, we have seen a rise in prices in detailing products, especially also in Germany from German brands, which is rather drastic. With some products, they almost doubled in price.
Yeah, I've seen also really crazy price increases.
Yeah, and that leads us to the last point, because that's the only chance that foreign brands really have competing with price, because Germans like to moan.
Yes.
Germans like to moan a lot. If you, as an American content creator or YouTuber or influencer, if you have the feeling that you get a lot of negative comments, you should do a German channel. Believe me, what you experience is nothing.
You
it's
know
absolutely nothing compared to the amount of moaning that you have to cope with the Germans. They moan if they don't like the clothes that you wear in a video.
Yes,
or they don't like the brand of the clothes.
That is funny that you say that, because I also got accused of being an ambassador for PME.
True.
Because I have only one brand of jeans, because they are normal jeans. There's nothing special about them. They're just normal jeans. And the guy said, "Did you get sponsored? And is there a discount code?"
True.
Where I was thinking, what is he mean? What is he meaning? I don't understand what he's meaning. But it was interesting that they went so deep in detail that they saw that and they picked that up and asked the question about it.
I think one German YouTube channel, which the Americans maybe also know, is JP Performance. It's one of the biggest automotive channels, and I wear his clothes a lot because I like those clothes. And when JP Performance came out with his own line of products this year, I also tested them, but I wore a hoodie from him. And then I was immediately accused of being bought off.
Yeah, USB sponsored, yeah.
And so they moan if they don't like your clothes. They moan if they don't like that you show too many Zonex products. And 2 weeks later, they moan that you don't show the newest products from Zonex. I tell you, the amount of moaning is absolutely stunning.
Absolutely true.
And it's a lot to swallow. And that is definitely one aspect which makes it tough to deal with German detailers. That accounts for the professionals as well as the DIYers, definitely. The professionals also like to mow.
Yeah, but that's international. I cannot point that to one specific country where there's a specific people moaning all the time. I find that everywhere.
Is that an international issue? That detailing professionals like to moan?
Yes, very much, very much. It's beautiful, beautiful. They can literally bash something that's really bad, but they can never, ever give something to improve. So you are left with all the bad things and no suggestions. Hey, maybe this is an idea, or this is not. No, it's always ta, because I have 25 years of experience, or yada, yada, yada.
Why don't you give me cheaper chemicals? Why don't you give me better products? Why does the other guy get more discount than me? Why does he have more customers than I do? That's especially typical moaning.
The international moaning is even more brilliant. That somebody's complaining about how a car is being washed in a certain part of the world. Beautiful, beautiful. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to polish. Nobody's there standing doing a job and he's making money. And
why is he applying the tar remover first into the whole car? Because he lives in fucking Norway or Sweden, where the roads are completely broken off and those cars are covered in tar. You have never experienced that before. True. So moaning is a bit of an international issue with professionals. So we always try to end the episode with something positive. And the one thing I have to say is, yes, German detailers can be a pain in the ass because of their exactness, because they like to moan, because they have so strong national brands. However, if you have won their heart, they are a rather lovely and a rather loyal bunch.
Very loyal. Very loyal.
Once you have, it's tough and it's hard and it takes time to win their hearts. But once you have done something good, and then they also show you that.
Yeah, and I have the luck, and I have to be blessed that I have been meeting a lot of amazing people, and then regardless from country, but in this case also a lot of from Germany. Very good friendship with the guys from Podklans from Gladbeck. That also with Marvin, very good relation. The guys from Autopflege Robert, Nico, you guys. It's becoming bigger and bigger, and you can see that the love of car care transcends religion, race, gender, nationality, size.
That's a good point to end.
That's true.
Exactly. Even if the Germans are a pain in the ass, what unites us at the end of the day is the love for detailing, and even more so, the love for cars. Because I have never, ever met someone who is really into his detailing who doesn't love his cars.
Yes.
Or her cars.
Very little hardcore commercial capitalistic entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah.
Most of them start with the love of the game.
And the love of cars is what is uniting us and what should uniting us.
Yes, keep uniting.
That's a good positive way of ending our usually very sarcastic, critical, brutal, direct, veritas, truth-based podcast. But that's a very positive way to end it. I like it. Well done, Reggie.
Thank you.
Good you're here.
Lucky.
Good you're here.
Dumb luck.
If you tell us what you think about German detailers, are they really a pain in the ass? Are there even worse countries out there that you experienced? Write us a comment. Maybe we can go through those comments in a future episode. If you watched the video, thanks very much for watching. If you have listened to the podcast, thank you for listening. And we hope you join us in the next one. And the next one will be about... You already know it?
Something about not getting into this business.
Exactly. 10 reasons why you should not start with car care.
Yeah, a good one.
This will be a good one. It's an interesting one. Thanks for joining us and see you next time. Bye.
Ciao.